Hi everybody, this is the baseball head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, Hunter. Welcome back to the baseball head, and hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. This is the kind of game that you start dreaming about what's going to come next. I mean, because when you get young pitching that comes in here and dominates like this, and the amazing thing about Nolan McLean tonight, just in general, is he's not the best Mets prospect as a pitcher. He's their second best prospect. The big boy goes on Friday, and he's a different animal. And it'll be interesting to see how he pitches. But tonight is all about Nolan McLean. He had all of his pitches working. I was really able to really focus in on his pitches. Sweeper, his off-speed pitches are nasty. I mean, sweeper, the changeup, the curveball, slider, everything worked. Everything worked tonight. His ability to manage these innings, you don't see too much of that kind of like game management from a young pitcher. And this is a guy that really has not. He just took up pitching regularly last year. And the Mets drafted him, like Gary said during the game, as a reliever, but he didn't really start pitching regularly until last June, July. And he only had 2 pitches coming into the Mets organization. But they have 6 very effective pitches and developed them over the last 2 years. Is just incredible. If he stays healthy, just looking at him, the sky's the limit. But he had everything working. I mean, and there was really up until the 8th inning. He didn't have any issues with this game. I mean, he had 49 pitches going into the 6th inning. He wasn't throwing a lot of pitches. It wasn't like a lot of like long innings. He wasn't struggling with his command. He didn't walk anybody in this game. I mean, and the numbers in the first 3 starts of his career, I mean, just amazing. He's won his first 3 starts. No Met has ever done that. Doc Gooden didn't do that. Tom Seaver, Jacob deGrom, down the line. David Cohn, Ron Darling. None of these guys did that. And the fact that he has done that says how well he's pitched. But going over these 3 starts, he's pitched 20 in the 3rd innings. He's given up 2 earned runs to an ERA of 0.89, 21 strikeouts, 10 hits. He gave up 4 hits tonight and 4 walks, and he didn't walk anybody tonight. So he has just been masterful. I mean, there's really not a lot. There's nothing to sort of. I mean, everything's great. And like I said, the amazing thing is he's the second best prospect on the mound. But this will, and now the Mets are now 4 games behind the Phillies. They play them next week in Philadelphia. It's not going to be easy. The Phillies play well at home, and all the Phillies issues really manifested itself in this series. One, they clearly spooked by the Citi Field. Clearly are not a good defensive team. I mean, the corners are bad in the outfield. The third baseman, it's a terrible third baseman. Bryce Harper should be back in the outfield. I talked a lot about over the last 2 days about their defense. But they still have a good bullpen. The starting staff is pretty strong even without Wheeler. It's going to be a tough 30 games, or less than 30 games, or 28 games, whatever it is now. But when you get the kind of starting pitching the Mets have gotten from McLean and from Peterson a little bit, and Clay Holmes, and hopefully we'll see what Tong does on Friday. Then get Tong to pitch like he has in the minor leagues, and he is completely dominated the minor leagues. Some people over the last few weeks have been saying that he might be the best pitching prospect in baseball. Which you can't believe seeing McLean pitch these first 3 starts. But with these 2 young guys in this rotation, it is going to be extremely difficult for the Mets to be beat down the stretch. When you get great starting pitching, when you're in the pennant race, it starts to snowball. But more than that, it's like momentum. It's like a train. It goes faster and faster and faster and faster. And, the next guy out there will want to pitch just as well as the guy before that. So it's like that's the thing about rotations is sometimes you get guys that support each other. Back in the 80s, you saw that. Back in 2015, we saw that. It's very similar to 2015 in a lot of ways. Because once they started bringing up Noah Syndergaard and Steven Matz with DeGrom and Matt Harvey here, it was like a building momentum. And I'm feeling that right now. Now, talked a lot about this team being a bad team, and they played really poorly. But when you bring in young players and young pitching, it just changes everything. It really does. Now, I would bring up, of course, the Mets offense, which, again, scored another 6 runs tonight. And, of course, they got big hits from Juan Soto, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso in the 3rd inning, and got more contributions from Mark Vientos. Where have you been all year, young man? Where have you been all year? But now he's coming and he's pushing. He's finally, figured out again how to hit again. He was trying to do too much. We all saw it. And now he's just going up the middle again, going to right field, taking the pitch where it's thrown. And that home run he hit, that was a no doubter. The second that ball made contact with the bat, you knew it was gone. And really, with all these pieces working, hopefully they can take this into the series against the Marlins. That's not going to be easy. The Marlins are a pain in the ass. This is their World Series when they play the Mets. They don't like it when the Mets go down to Miami and they dominate Miami. They give the Mets all kinds of fits when they come up here. We've seen this for 25 years, 30 years. I remember back in 98, they were giving the Mets problems in 98. So this is not going to be an easy series against them. But one game at a time. Get tomorrow, and then you worry about the next day. Obviously, the big game will be on Friday with Jonah Tom pitching on Friday, and it'll be interesting to see how he does in that pressure cook. They mentioned during the game how poised McLean is, and I guess they didn't realize, or maybe they failed to mention, he played for a big program in Oklahoma, and gotta say it like that. And he played in a lot of big games, both as a pitcher and as a everyday player. So he knows these pressure games. It'll be interesting to see how Tom pitches, because he's not pitching a big spot. This will be the biggest game of his life on Friday. It'll be interesting to see how he controls his emotions, how he controls the game. And he's not American. He's from Canada. It'll be interesting to see how he handles this big spot. But the Mets have pushed him, pretty hard. And he only had 2 starts in AAA. And I guess they kind of figured he dominated them in AAA so much that there's no reason to waste his innings up down there in Syracuse. It was smart that they're going to do that on Friday. But the Met offense was great again tonight. They got great pitching from Nolan McLean. And that's it. But I would mention, again, Brett Beatty had a good game again, 2 for 4. Mark Vientos he's on a roll. He's got now 49 RBIs. It'll be interesting to see where he finishes RBI-wise. Juan Soto has 79 RBIs. He's got a good chance to get 100 RBIs. And he has an outside chance to be a 30-30 man. He's got 22 stolen bases. So that's a big goal. And for people complaining about his season, I think he's had a great season. And the batting average is going up in terms of men in scoring position. That was a big hit he had in that 3rd inning to get the scoring, get the second run in. So he's coming. He's going to be putting up big numbers when we get to when that bell finishes. When that bell finally ends, when we get to the final bell, aside from him not being able to hit men's scoring position up until recently, I have all the confidence in the world he's going to get a big hit this season. And starting to see it coming around. But it was a great night tonight. They swept the scum-sucking Phillies. They're scum-sucking too, just like the Braves. And just got to worry about tomorrow. Get tomorrow's game against the Marlins. That is a downer. going from the Phillies to the Marlins is a downer. And the Phillies have to sort of ask themselves, what you gonna do when the Mets go down to Philadelphia? And what you gonna do if the Mets have to face you again in postseason? They did not do great in postseason against the Mets, and obviously they don't play well at Citi Field. Obviously, it's in their head. It's interesting in this, of course, in this series, Kyle Schwarber didn't do anything, went 0 for 11. Bryce Harper had a couple of hits tonight, but did nothing really. It's great to see the Mets playing great. Going to make the Mets great again, and they're on their way back from the abyss, that dark abyss they've been in all season. But when you get great starting pitching, you went from a starting pitching staff that couldn't finish the fourth inning, and now you got this young guy, 2 starts in a row, 7th inning, 8th inning. Back in the day, he would have went out into the 9th inning. But you could tell he was laboring a little bit, that he was kind of gassed a little bit in that 8th inning. But back in the day, they would have sent him back out. But just an awesome night, and a real pleasure watching him pitch. And it's nothing like young pitching that'll turn the season around. And Mets, they got a lot of young players coming now. They have a lot of young players. And it's going to be fun the next few years, but got to get tomorrow and worry about the next day. That's it, just tomorrow. But you let me know what you think about this video. And of course, thank you for watching the Baseball Hut. This was a great night. A sweep of the Phillies. The Mets out 4 games behind. And Nolan McLean is the cowboy. The cavalry has arrived. And the cavalry has a cowboy at the helm. And we'll see how Tom goes on Friday. So, thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button and follow me on Facebook. And I'll see you later.